Hello guys and welcome back to Dylan's Little Hobbies, and in today's video I am going to be making floating islands in my tank. Now I am going to of course show you guys how. It's a little DIY project, do it yourself project. The reason why I'm actually going to be doing this is because of my xenia coral. However, you can do this project for freshwater too if you're trying to create a type of aquascape. And so that's what I want to talk about in today's video. Now, let me just explain why I'm wanting to do it for my coral. So I have this coral and it's called xenia. And yes, I know if you're a saltwater keeper, xenia is like the easiest coral to keep for some reason. It's like, oh my god, it's a weed, people hate it. And some people like it. I love this coral, and here's the fact. It's my first coral. I didn't even think I was going to put a coral in this fish tank. This is my first saltwater tank. I've been in freshwater for 5 years, but this is my first saltwater tank, and I have a coral in there that is surviving, that is doing well, that is indeed growing. I'm so excited and so happy that I have a coral, which I thought was one of the hardest things to keep in the aquarium hobby at all. These weird, interesting, fascinating creatures. And yes, they are actual animals. They are not plants. They're animals. I had no intentions of putting a coral in this tank, and eventually I decided, you know what, it's safe to go with my other fish. Let me just try it. And the fact that xenia coral I've only had for 3 weeks. And the fact that the xenia coral is doing so well makes me so happy. I am thrilled. And here's the thing. I've only had it for 3 weeks, and it's actually grown quite a bit. It's grown quite a bit. In fact, on the coral itself, I see all the time new, tiny little polyps. I am so happy that this coral is doing well. Now, with that said, I've noticed something about it. So, xenia coral is one of those corals that if you're not careful with it, it can take over a tank. So, you kind of want to be careful with it. And because of that, I try to isolate it. I try to give it kind of its own island. And that's what I try to do. So, I have this rock that looks like a tree trunk, and I stuck on top of it. And I figured I was going to get this tree of xenia coral up the back of my glass, and it could all come from that trunk-like rock that I have, that tree trunk-like rock that I have. And I was really excited for that, and I still am, but the thing is, the xenia coral doesn't seem to want to actually grow up the back of the glass. In fact, I've noticed the past couple of days that it has indeed started searching for new rock. In fact, no joke. I thought corals were like really slow. They don't have a brain, they don't think, they're really slow, they're just sitting there eating stuff, and maybe finding some room to grow a new branch, you know? But this coral is really fascinating. It actually is like seeking out actual places to grow. I've never seen anything like it. And of course, being isolated on that rock, it has nowhere to go but on the back of the glass, and yet it's not going on the back of the glass at all. It's a really interesting coral, the way it's waving around, trying to grow. And what I've noticed is, because there's no rock or anything like that, it's actually kind of like hanging off, like it's grown so big, it's literally hanging off the side of the rock, trying to find more rock to grow on, but there's nowhere for it to grow on. And there's a part of me that's like, that's great, because now it won't go everywhere across my tank. I don't want it to go everywhere, but I'm actually kind of like, yeah, but I want it to grow on the back of the glass. I want it to grow in like a tree shape, and you know, that got me thinking, can I somewhat with rock kind of determine the way this coral is going to grow. I'm going to try to control its growth and try to direct its growth into like a tree shape. And the way I thought of doing that is actually by getting some more rock for it. Now, I don't mean like gain some more rock and just attaching it to the tree trunk or anything. I was kind of thinking, you know what? There are those rocks that are actually free floating that you can buy. Some of them are suction cups, some of them are magnets, but like they're supposed to be coral racks that they actually look like rock. Like one of them, Toons actually has one. I'll put a picture here to show you guys. Toons has one, and that inspired me, and I was really thinking, you know what? Maybe I'll go buy one of Toons' rocks and stick it on the back of my glass and wait until the coral grows on it. But I remembered that I actually have in the back of this aquarium just some rocks that are just literally sitting there. I'm not doing anything with these rocks, you know? They're just sitting in the back there. All they're doing is providing more room for biological filtration. They're just sitting in the back there. They don't add to the aquascape or anything like that. I thought maybe at one point maybe I would like put some sort of coral or some sort of macroalgae on them and have them grow up the back of the glass. At this point, I'm really doing nothing with these rocks. So I figured, you know, what if I turned those into some sort of floating aquascape for my coral? And then that gave me the idea of possibly making my own floating aquascape and trying to direct the coral into that tree shape that I want. And so that's what I did. I actually have a box full of suction cups from heaters over the years. Again, I've been in freshwater for 5 years, and none of these suction cups I've ever used. I don't really use suction cups at all when it comes to heaters and stuff like that. So over the years, while I've replaced heaters or replaced airline or stuff like that, I would just have all of these suction cups and I just set them in a box. I don't have a lot of them, but I have enough of them. So I decided to use those. Now, if I didn't have those, I would actually go out and buy magnets. There are aquarium safe magnets out there that you guys can go buy and maybe get some like reef rubble, some frag zone from Carib Sea Life Rock or something like that. And you could probably do an aquascape like this yourself, or if you're in freshwater, you could definitely grab some smaller pieces of aquascaping rock and probably do this yourself. Create this floating aquascape on the back of your tank. But I would definitely use magnets if it wasn't for the fact that I have these suction cups. If you're wanting to do this, don't do it with suction cups. Do it with magnets. They will stay on a lot better, make a lot stronger of a hold. I'm just using suction cups because I have them. Now what I did is I actually have some reef glue, which reef glue is pretty much just super glue, and I suction cups, and I literally took the suction cups and I glued them to the rocks. That's all. Now I actually had like this big rock in the back that really wasn't doing anything, so I broke it into a couple of pieces to do this, and I got 7 rocks out of them. So I did that, and then I put them all in the tank right by the xenia coral, and I've noticed like right away the xenia coral took notice of the rock, and it didn't like scrunch up in fear or anything like that. It literally took notice that there was a new rock on there, and it almost seems like it's going to try to climb over it. Now, if I left it alone, it probably would, but I'm actually thinking that I might try to frag this coral, just because I really want to get attached to all the pieces of the other rock. Now I will say this, I've had these in there for a couple of days. The xenia coral has not attached to anything of it yet, but it has knows that they are there at least. And I'm definitely probably going to have to frag them to attach them to the new pieces of rock, but that will be in another video if I do decide to do that. But the thing is, these suction cups multiple times throughout the week, not all of them, but I've had 2 of them that are made out of plastic and not like rubbery. Like I have the rest of them are all made out of like rubbery suction cups, and they are sucked to the glass so much better than the plastic ones I have. The 2 plastic ones I have keep falling off. So I will say that if you're going to do this, don't do it with suction cups, do it with magnets. But this is the way the aquascape turned out, and I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out. Again, I just did a couple of them, but I really do kind of like them. I really do kind of like the way this kind of looked. So that is today's video, my do-it-yourself floating rock aquascape that I did for the back of my glass. I'm hoping to get that xenia coral on those rocks. Cannot wait to do that. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I am out.